Hi everyone, my name's Andrew from a company called Action Your Potential, and welcome to this assembly. It is a very exciting year. It's an important year. It's the year that ends with some enormous examinations, GCSEs or A levels. What we wanted to do was bring you in this short assembly 4 daily behaviours to help you every single day to prepare for that challenge. And I wanted to reassure all of you before we started that you've got everything you need at the top of your neck. You can absolutely do this. Your brain can do it, even though there will be circuits in your brain that tell you that you can't, even though that you might worry and stress about grades and deadlines. You can absolutely do it. And we don't need to worry about the future. We don't need to panic about what's just happened. The only place in our lives where we can make a change is in the present moment. And that's what we're going to talk about now. How we can change our brains using daily behaviors to support you managing this most auspicious of years. You have everything you need at the top of your neck. 86 billion neurons evolving over millions and millions of years, supported by 86 billion glial cells. And you can already do some really complicated stuff. You can walk, you can talk, you can do all the things that you've learnt to do in primary and secondary school. There's an incredible ability of the brain to adapt and respond to the experiences it faces. And I want you to understand that the process of growing and changing in the brain is effortful. It is hard. We sometimes run a little system, a little way of thinking about learning, which is not reflecting reality. We tell ourselves, for example, that learning should be easy, and that if we're struggling, then somehow we have some sort of deficit and that we're not as good as those people over there. That's not true. Learning occurs as a result of struggle and effort in the brain. It occurs as a result of mistakes and mini failures. Obviously, we don't want those mistakes and failures to hit us in the exams, but what do we do to avoid that situation? We practice daily. And we're not talking about hours and hours and hours every day. We're talking about preparing for your exams like an athlete would prepare for the Olympics, with having a training program. And that's what this video is about. It's about 4 daily behaviors that will change your brain over the course of the year, help you remember more, help you feel better, engage, enjoy, focus more. So Google, working with neuroscientists, have just mapped a very small part of the brain. They've taken a millimetre square of brain tissue from a lady that left her brain to medical science. They've mapped 50,000 neurons. That's 130 million connections in that small bit of brain tissue. 700 times more capacity than a desktop computer. So our brains are incredibly powerful serial processors, which basically means they do lots of things at the same time. In fact, if a supercomputer was to try and do the same that the brain can do, it would take 40 minutes to do what the brain can do in a second. If you're going to make the most out of every single day in your incredible human brain, you're going to need to manage your well-being and take responsibility for it. Well-being is not some self-indulgence, and well-being doesn't just mean doing stuff that you enjoy, like watching Netflix and YouTube. That's important, but actually well-being is an active process, and your brain and body have got expectations about what the environment's going to provide in relation to those things. A key area, particularly when we're working up towards a performance like examinations, is managing our mind, and particularly the mind's tendency to be negative. We're going to look at that. And your learning and your productivity and well-being, mind management and learning and productivity are all pieces of the same jigsaw. So those 5 simple ideas that can change your day. And that's what we're going to explore today. 5 simple ideas that can change your day. The first is well-being. Do your rocks. Deliberate rest. Now this is fundamental. These are the 12 rocks of well-being. 50% of how you feel every day is down to what you've done in the previous 24 hours. It feels like we're a mind directing a brain and a body, but actually it's the other way round. We are a brain that is producing a mind, and you can experience that every morning. As you wake up, your brain builds your mind out of sleep inertia, that groggy feeling when you first wake up. That is sleep inertia. Your brain is building your mind. Deliberate rest is the process of actively engaging in 12 rocks of well-being to help your brain build the best mind possible. And we need to plan our well-being in every day. These are those 12 rocks. So print out this and stick it on your fridge and make sure you're getting them in each day. Some of them are easier to get done than others. Hopefully, you've already got a good sleep habit. Hopefully, you connect regularly with your friends and family. I'm sure you listen to music. Some are trickier, like being still or practicing mindfulness. That's about watching our thoughts and not getting tied up in them. That's about a bit of meditation. And it's a really important habit to build. And we can help you. There are videos we supply that will help you build that habit. In fact, we've got videos that will help you build any of these daily habits. Behaviour 2 is about planning your day every day. If only somebody had told me this years ago. If you don't plan each day, your brain goes for passive and easy. Brains like to save energy. And if we don't plan our day, they'll use pre-existing neural architecture, the pathways that have already been carved in our neural architecture, because they require less energy. So if you don't do planning each day, your brain will do passive and easy. And let's face it, the 21st century is full of passive and easy. There's Instagram, there's YouTube, there's Netflix. I mean, Netflix doesn't even wait for the credits. It just jumps over into the new episode. So we need to plan our day. That doesn't mean we need to work every day, but it means we have to plan our day because there's no boss circuit in the brain. Our brain is like a loud, noisy hall full of people. Our brain is full of billions of circuits that evolved at different times to do different things. There is no one place that is completely in charge. There is an area of the brain that can call it to order and go, guys, calm down, we're focusing on this now. It's like the Speaker of the House in the House of Commons. It is the prefrontal cortex, the area of the brain wrapped around beneath our forehead. That is the bit that calls the brain to order. So how do you get stuff done every day? How do you feel productive? How do you get your well-being done? How do you get your homework done? We look after the prefrontal cortex's ability to manage the rest of the brain. And we do that by getting good sleep, exercising often. That literally builds connections between the prefrontal cortex and the rest of the brain. We do chores and have two tasks. That's like a bicep curl for our prefrontal cortex. We have routines and we make plans. How do plans help the prefrontal cortex to get stuff done? It basically gives the prefrontal cortex an opportunity to go, guys, whatever the argument is you're having back there, we're doing this now. So you need to plan your day. Daily plans transform vague ideas into actions. This is an example of a plan that we've been building in a one-to-one with a student just going to college. And you can see we've got a lot of detail in there. We've got what they're going to do at certain times of the day. Obviously, we've co-constructed this with them. This isn't us telling them what to do. This is them saying, these are the things I've got to get done. What's the best way of getting them organised? And you can see there's quite a lot of me time in there. There's a bit of work. There's quite a lot of me time and there's travel time as well. You need to plan your day every day. If you don't, you can fall victim to your own productivity circuits, your own contribution circuits. We've got circuits that measure the contribution of other people. That was important for our ancestors. If members of our tribe weren't pulling their weight, then we needed to judge whether or not they were worth having in the tribe. Those contribution circuits also look in at our own responses. And if we haven't done very much in a day, well, we know what that's like. We beat ourselves up. So if you don't have anything to aim at, you'll hit nothing. If you aim at nothing, you'll hit nothing. And that is particularly key for your prefrontal cortex every day. Behaviour 3 is learning hygiene. This is 2 quick habits that help your memory to encode the experiences you've had each day. Now, our brain forgets things at the rate of 70% of content every 24 hours. So 70% of our experiences are forgotten within 24 hours. So If we can remind ourselves what we did in the evening, in our lessons during the course of the day, that will refire those memories. What gets encoded in memory is what the brain uses. And the brain works on this basis. If I've used this connection, if I've used this neuron, this collection of neurons, then it must be important. So you can use a study capture sheet, and this is an example from an excellent student we work with. You put a subject on the left, you put the topic in the middle there, then you put a very quick key idea that you've remembered from the lesson. And that rating column is how well you understood the idea. You do this each night for 5 minutes. It wakes up the memories that were alive in the day. You would be amazed how many students say, I can't quite remember what I did lesson 1. Imagine you've got to remember all of that information over the course of a 2-year GCSE or A-level course. This stimulates the same neurons that fired when you learnt the original information, beginning the process of memory construction. Our brains find it easier to remember information that's dangerous to us, interesting to us, or repeated. And the curriculum is so extensive, we're going to need to repeat information. If you don't repeat, your brain will delete. Memory is what's left over after thinking. So wherever our mind goes in the day, that is what's left in our memory. And I would also urge you to carry out flashcards every day, just for content-based subjects like science, chemistry, biology, physics, history, geography. Choose a colour, assign it to a particular subject, write 5 keyword flashcards a day, and then use a box system. In the box system, the ones on the left hand side of your desk in a box, those are the ones you look at every day. They've just been created. The ones in the middle of your desk are ones that you're pretty much there, but you need to look at them every 2 or 3 days. And the ones on the right are ones that you need to look at perhaps once every couple of weeks. And you'll have different colours for different subjects. They'll be all interleaved. That process of returning each day to do the flashcards. When I say do them, what I mean is just read out the word and the definition. Your brain will do the rest and get somebody to test you every week or so, quiz you. Habit 4 is be clear about your near goals and your mid goals. What a near goal is, what am I doing today to build my well-being, my learning, my memory, my willpower, my creativity, my productivity, my healthy mind management. Those are things we can do something about every day. Mid goals is what do I need to do or to be able to do in the next few months. And obviously that is the focus on GCSEs or A-levels. We need to make sure that we've got a bit of focus around our goals. And if we have daily near goals, stuff we're doing that moves our learning forward, stuff we're doing that moves our well-being forward, we don't have to worry about far goals because we're moving ourselves in a direction, building habits each day that build good structures, good procedures, good responses in our brain. Near goals are usually focused on well-being, mind management, and unleashing learning. For example, you might decide that you're going to build great sleep. You're going to spend some time getting your sleep right. You're going to build in more exercise because that's important for attention, engagement, and positive mood. You're going to learn to manage your worries more effectively rather than become a victim of your worrying brain. And you're going to build learning hygiene in, as we talked about. The final habit is really about an attitude to struggle. Struggle, mistakes, and effort are signals that you're learning. So if you're expecting your GCSE year to be full of easy learning, you are suffering a misapprehension. And lots of people do. They expect learning to be easy. And if it isn't, they then think there's some issue with their ability to learn the information. No. Struggle, mistakes, and effort are the highways to learning. If you're not struggling, you're not learning. Think of it like this. First attempt in learning. Think about the way that a toddler learns to walk. They make loads of mistakes. They fall over, 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 and suddenly they're toddling around. They fall over, they toddle around. The more mistakes a brain makes initially when it's learning, the quicker it can find its way to the correct path because it's learning every time there's a failed attempt in learning. A failed attempt in learning. A failed attempt in learning. Think of what Edison used to say. I've come up with 100 different ways that it doesn't work. that is 100 steps down the path of finding exactly the right way. So learning is struggle. Mistakes and failure are part and parcel of that process. And making mistakes during the course of year 11, year 12, year 13 is important. It will help you learn more. And you can probably think of examples where you learn more quickly once you've made a mistake. Obviously, you're practicing, and the mistakes won't be there for the exams because you'll have done the learning by then. So, your life is a gift. Your brain is amazing. You can absolutely do this. You can change your brain, your learning, and your life. You have everything you need at the top of your neck. If you need any resources or any support, just get in touch with us across subscribing schools. You just need to decide to act. Action is the thing that changes our brain. Learning is a struggle. Yes, growth is hard and takes effort, but it is a pain we choose. The other kind of pain, the pain of regret and lost opportunities and what might have been, is something we want to avoid. Life is that struggle for growth, but when we struggle, our brain and our body responds to that struggle and improves and develops. You can absolutely do this. Thank you for listening, and we are here to support you every step of the way.